All right, San Diego State with their biggest win of the year, no doubt about that. A road win at Gonzaga. They had yet to get a signature road win this season. Sure, they had that win against Washington, but the Cal game as well, like that was pretty much like a home game if you think about the crowd there. It was a neutral site game, I believe, but I mean, look how many State fans were at that game. But this one here, it was on the road. It was at Gonzaga. Sure, there weren't the students there in the student section, but it was still a packed crowd there in Spokane. And San Diego State showed Darrion Trammell specifically. He and Reese Waters, Jane Ledee there in the second half, showed up. Darrion Trammell, I mean, 15, almost half of San Diego State's first half points. The big three that he hit, it was kind of like just a desperate, all right, I'm going to throw it up. Still makes it in the first half. And then Reese Waters, I think he was, what, 8 for 11 tonight? Hit a few threes. Really big performance from him. Miles Bird even got in on the action. I don't understand with Gonzaga. It felt like they were almost giving this game to San Diego State. Because the Aztecs, they had a double-digit lead. Then it got down to like 5 points. And Aztecs fans like myself were sitting there on the couch and we're like, oh no, here we go. Gonzaga's at home. They're a good team. San Diego State, they weren't doing well when Gonzaga was pressing them, full court press, and they were getting turnovers, Gonzaga was, and then they stopped doing it. They just let San Diego State come down the court, and I didn't understand that. Lamont Butler, 4 fouls, Dutch sits him, and he has said this in the past, like he's just going to play the best guys. The best guys that night, he doesn't care who it is. The best 5 guys is who he wants on the court in crunch time, and that's what happened, and so Lamont didn't really have much of an impact offensively tonight, but it was Waters, it was Ledee, it was Parrish. Ledee, yeah, missed those couple free throws on the flagrant foul, but he hit almost every other free throw, I believe, from the line. Reese Waters is like 42 for 42 to start the season from the free throw line. Doing the little things is what San Diego State was able to do tonight for the most part. And so, yeah, I mean, not that I care. I mean, I do care, I guess, about the rankings because I keep talking about how San Diego State should be ranked. What I should say is not that the rankings matter. I care because it's still nice to have the number next to your name, and I think it does bring in some of the casual fans. But the rankings at the end of the day don't matter. Like, what matters is the net. But San Diego State should be ranked still next week. They're 11-2. Their 2 losses were in 2 tough environments. BYU, who was ranked shortly thereafter that loss that San Diego State had to them on the road. Grand Canyon's one of the tougher environments to play on the road in the country. And they've beaten Stanford. They've beaten Cal. They've beaten Washington. They've beaten Gonzaga on the road here. I mean, they have, what, half the amount of losses that Gonzaga has? Now, going into tonight, the losses that Gonzaga had were not bad losses. Purdue, Washington, I believe. Well, maybe that's a bad loss for Gonzaga, but Purdue, #1 team in the country at the time, I believe, when Gonzaga lost to them. UConn, I think, was the other one who just made it to the national championship game. They won the national championship against San Diego State, obviously, this past year. So it's not like they were bad losses, but, I mean, winning games should matter. And San Diego State has won 11 of them, and they just win on the road against Gonzaga, who was a ranked team. I think that's got to mean something. So, great night for the Aztecs for sure. And now they start in the new year. They start their conference schedule. And I think that the expectation should be to go win the conference and go win the Mountain West tournament. And if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I mean, I think San Diego State has set themselves up well going into conference play. If they play well in conference play, they're in the tournament. And then you see what happens. But, I mean, this is going to be their biggest win of the season. At Gonzaga, it's not going to get bigger than that, I wouldn't think. Maybe there's going to be a late buzzer beater on the road during conference play like last year with Lamont, I believe against New Mexico. But in terms of, like, big opponent on the road, this is that. This is the game. So, huge win, big statement for the Aztecs. We'll see if they get the respect in the AP poll from those voters who maybe they were watching the game, maybe they weren't, but even if you look at the box score, like Gonzaga doesn't lose at home. So, huge win.